All right, so last week I gave you this book and I had you read through this story, and I told you that we are going to work on author's purpose. Who remembers what author's purpose is? What does it mean when I talk about author's purpose?
The lesson that they're teaching us or something like that?
Sometimes it can seem like what they're teaching us, but think about the word purpose. What does it mean? If I'm saying the purpose of something I'm doing, what am I talking about?
The reason why?
Yeah, the reason why. Very good. So the reason why the author wrote this story. And we've talked about this before. Do you remember when we talked about author's purpose and we talked about this? And what 3 types of purpose there can be? Persuade, inform, entertain. Very good. Those are the 3 main reasons. But remember, here in 4th grade, we don't just talk about that. We don't just say, oh, the author is going to persuade, or the author is going to inform, or the author is going to entertain. We give a little bit more detail, right? So when we give a little bit more detail, we have to look at a little more detail in our story. So you read this story, A Hero Weighs In. Can you tell me very quickly in a summary what this story was about?
It was about teenagers that were born in a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
And they even had to go into a middle school in the spaceship.
Mm-hmm. And what happened with one of those teenagers or one of those kids?
They couldn't make it all the way to 10 minutes, so they did 4 minutes.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get quite through the 10 minutes that he had to stay in that one room, right? But then what ended up happening with his brother?
He got stuck in the thing.
Yeah.
And he had to, and I think Dex,
Mm-hmm.
he had to go, he was finding a way to get in, so he had to go down and take his brother.
Yeah, he had to actually go in there again, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Do you have something you wanted to add?
No.
Okay. All right. So I had you when you read, I had you pull out some of the characters that were in the story. Can you tell me what some of these characters were? Dex.
Jace.
Jace.
Miss
Mrs. Luna.
and
Mrs. Johnson. And I see on your paper, EDL, you have somebody else too. Who else did you list? Granddad. Yeah, I do remember him in the story. So the reason I had you do this is because, like I said, we're working on author's purpose, and a lot of times what can help us to determine the author's purpose is some of the characters and how they act and how they feel and the things they say. So let's talk about some of these characters. We're going to dig a little deeper into these characters. Let's talk about Dex. How does Dex feel? If you flip your paper over, your first question on your paper is, how do the characters feel and why do they feel that way? Let's talk about Dex. How does he feel in this story? How do you think he feels?
like he's like he wants to be like I forgot what it's called. He wants to like pass being in the thing.
Okay, he wants to be able to be in that chamber with I think it's no gravity chamber,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, he wants to be in there, but how does he feel when he's in there? How does it seem like he feels? It's okay. He's scared. What makes you think he's scared?
Because he tries to get out quickly.
Yeah, he tries to get out, and before the 10 minutes even, right? Yeah, he doesn't seem to like it in there, right? Why doesn't he like it in there? What did it talk about in the story?
Like weightlessness?
Yes, it's weightlessness, and why doesn't he like that? What happened in the story? Do you remember, Hanif? What happened in the story? Why doesn't Dex like the weightlessness in that room?
Sorry.
Can anybody help him out? Why doesn't Dex like the weightless room?
Because it turns him upside down and he says that his blood is all going all into his head.
Yeah, and who told him a story about that? Do you remember?
His grandpa.
Yeah, his grandpa. But was his grandpa being serious? No, it didn't really happen. It was a made-up story. No matter what his mom said, right? He was scared. So we're saying that Dex is scared, and you're saying to me that Dex is scared because he doesn't want to be stuck upside down, right? Okay. How about what about the brother? How does he feel in the story?
He has belief in Dexter.
He has belief in Dexter. Why do you think that?
Because he's always thinking about him being part of the story so that he can make it.
Okay. How about another character? JJ, what do you think? What could you say about the mom? How did mom feel at any point in the story?
Like, she felt like, probably I forgot.
Well, how do you think she felt? You're looking at page 11. What's happening on page 11?
Like a presentation?
There was a presentation going on in EDL. What happens on page 11? What is she?
She was worried about James because he disappeared and they don't know where he is at.
Very good. Yeah. So you're telling me you think she looks worried or feels worried, and the reason she feels that way is because her little boy's missing? Yeah, I think as a mom, I would feel worried, right? I think your mom would worry, or your grandma or your aunt, whoever takes care of you, would feel worried if they didn't know where you were, right? So there seems to be a reoccurring theme here, right? Like what seems to be the feeling that our characters seem to be having?
Like, to never give up.
Well, what's the feeling they're having? Think about your feelings. So happy, sad, scared, worried, joyful.
Mixed emotions.
They are having a little bit of mixed emotions, but what seems to be the common feeling that they're kind of all having? How do you think the brother's feeling when he gets stuck in the chamber? How do you think Dex is feeling when he first has to do the chamber? How's mom feeling? What do they kind of have in common?
They're worried.
Yeah, they're worried. They're all kind of worried, right? Good. So why do you think the author chose these characters? Why do you think he chose them? Thinking back to thinking about our author's purpose, why do you think he would choose characters like this to write about them?
Maybe to when you're worried, all you have to do is calm down and look.
Okay, so let's go to question 2. That ties into question 2. Look at the way the writer ended the book. Is this, well, no. I'm sorry, look at question 4. Why do you think the writer chose to tell this story? So if you're saying the common thing is that if you're worried, don't give up, right? Is that what you said to me?
Calm down.
Okay, and that's kind of a theme, right? So why, based on that theme, why do you think the author is writing this? What's the purpose? Do you think he's trying to persuade us, inform us, or entertain us? What do you think?
It's between inform and entertain.
Why do you say that?
It's informing us to like never give up on like what you want to do.
Okay.
And it's just like a story.
It's a story that entertains us. Very good. Yeah. It's kind of informing us and teaching us how to be, right? When we get worried or scared, it's saying, hey, look, you don't have to be worried or scared. In the end, like, you can do it, right? Don't give up. But it's also entertaining us because it's doing it through a story, right? Very good. I like that. So do you think, looking at the story, wrapping it all up, do you think that this was a good way for the writer to end the story? You say yes, EDL, why?
Because every time Jack gets into the machine, he gets scared, but at the end, he finally managed to complete everything.
Yeah, he did end up being able to do it. So what does that show us about Dex?
That he just kept calm and did it anyways.
Yeah, he kept calm and did it anyways. Do you think he really had to be afraid of this?
Yeah.
No, he didn't really. He had it in him to get it done, didn't he? All right. So, JJ, before we leave the table, tell me what is one type of author's purpose? Well, tell me, what is author's purpose?
A reason?
A reason. Reason why they wrote the story, right? Very good. EDL, tell me one type of author's purpose.
Inform.
Informing. What's another one, honey?
Persuade.
Persuade. And what's the other one?
Entertain.
Entertain. All right, very good. You can take these papers with you. I'll keep your stories, and we'll meet next time, all right?